Welcome back to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On this week's episode, Aubrey decided to invite Jake's brother, because we refer to everybody that we know as someone else's brother in this podcast from now on. So we brought on Jake's brother to talk about Battle of the Sands, or Battle in the Sands, or Battle over the Sands. Something about sands and battling. We're going to talk about that because these guys played it at AdeptiCon. So we'll go ahead and jump into it. Nick, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. Who's Jake? I don't know. As the older brother, I don't stoop to that level.
Oh, wow. Of course. This is so much fun because I'm an only child.
That is the introduction.
Because I don't know what you're talking about.
We always go back and forth with it.
So how you doing, man? You recovering from AdeptiCon and the GT that we had 2 weeks afterwards?
Yeah. Oh, that was a lot of Shatterpoint in the last couple of weeks. It was a lot of fun, but I'm definitely in hibernation mode. That's for sure.
Yeah, waiting until the what you call it, the update, the balance update, and everything along those lines, and the next two boxes. I think end of May is going to be pretty exciting for Shatterpoint. So I think it's good. It's a good time to take a little rest because I think it's going to kick into high gear in about a month or so.
Yeah, and also we got Mandalorian and Grogu at the end of May, so a lot of Star Wars stuff to celebrate.
Yes, definitely. And Aubrey, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm awake. It's been a very long week, but I'm excited because it's also May the 4th coming up soon, the holiday of our people.
Yes, it is. I know, and you at the library always are doing a big May the 4th celebration type of a thing, so I know you're probably working on that pretty hot and heavy.
I'm not sure I would say hot and heavy for my children's program at the library, Todd. But at any event, yeah.
I don't judge.
No. We are supposed to judge in that context. Anyway, no, this is really just baby's first mosh pit. I give a bunch of small children pool noodles and tell them to fight Sith Lords and see what happens. The Sith Lords are balloons. It's not. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. I was about to say, are you the Sith Lord in this situation? Do they just sit there and beat up you with over and over?
Oh, I mean, I have done that. There's a famous library picture where it looks like I am about to entirely brain a tiny Darth Vader with a very real dueling saber. But no children were harmed in the making of that photo.
Okay, you were channeling your inner Anakin. I got you. All right, cool.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of some younglings to make some eggs. I don't know. I might have crossed my streams there.
It sounds that way. That's right. All right. Well, usually we start with kind of talking about what you've been up to. How about you, Nick? I mean, you had AdeptiCon, you had the GT locally. Anything else really going on with you?
I've been doing a little bit of painting, catching up on my pile of shame. You gotta have a nice balance. You gotta have a pile of shame there, but then you also gotta start working on stuff so that you don't feel bad about getting the new boxes and all that stuff. So, painting up some Padawans, and nice. I just finished up Nadar Veb, who I've never put on the table, but I think has a really cool, interesting card. I don't really play that much Galactic Republic. Like, that's usually Jake's main faction, so I see it on the table a lot. And so, I definitely want to try out some interesting combos, Phil and Phil's clones. I feel like there could be some fun stuff there, moving around a lot of Jedi and just getting some models on the table that I haven't played as much, especially heading into the rebalance. There's a lot of really exciting changes coming up with that. So that's kind of what I've been working on. I did AdeptiCon, and then I think it was a week later or 2 weeks later, we had the Arizona GT. And then, so.
Yep. And in 2 weeks from today, I'll be streaming Rocky Mountain Open. I'm going to drive up there in 2 weeks from this past Friday, and with a car full of people. I'm taking 2 players and Austin with me to sit there and stream. So it's going to be interesting to sit there and go and see how their event runs and everything like that.
Yeah, Denver area I know has a lot of really great players, and Arizona travels well, so that should be an exciting one to follow along with.
Oh, I think so. I think it's going to be a fun event. How about you, Aubrey? Have you had a chance to do anything?
I mean, not Shatterpoint wise. Although, hang on, I have to back up before I even talk about my week. First off, remember, Nick, it's a pile of opportunity. We gotta listen to Dallas. It's a pile of opportunity, not shame. And then I'm excited because while Todd takes all of the fun people up to Rocky Mountain Open, I'm going to be running our first event that I've been wanting to do, World Between Worlds, where it's no era or unique name restrictions. Because I'm going to roll up with a bunch of Ahsokas, I've decided, because it's just going to be like a standard showdown, and I'm just gonna run oops all Ahsokas and see what happens. So I'm excited about that. I don't know how many people are gonna like it. It seems to be a bad weekend, and also I have to do it on a Sunday in order to make sure the younglings get their fun at the library. So we'll see. It might be a smaller event, but that's okay. So please, hey, come play. You get to do weird shenanigans, weird list building right here before we get the balance update. And then
should be a fun one.
Yeah.
Ewok
Oh,
Leia
and then
making Princess Leia an Ewok.
Yeah. Yeah, you could play Oops All Leias too. You can put Boosh in there. Like, I don't know if you should, but you can put Boosh in there. And then let's see. Oh, no, Star Wars game-wise, I've actually been channeling my inner appreciation of Austin's love of blue-white control and magic. I found out. Hey guys. Oh, wait, Nick, do you play Star Wars Unlimited at all or no?
I have a bunch of cards, and I did I think it was like a pre-release type thing once. So I guess I have cards and I've played it before, but I don't actively play it. I'm still a noob.
That's okay. Well, so for Todd, for your appreciation, guess what, Todd? If you go on the villainous side, there's a lot of board wipes in that game. Did you know how many board wipes already exist in that game, Todd? Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to channel your inner empire there, Aubrey. That's the whole thing. You need to embrace the dark side, and then you can sit there and do some board wipes, which is what you should have always been doing if you played blue-white control anyway.
Oh no, I know I'm the bad guy.
Blue-white control
I know
is the empire for sure.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. They were the cops on Ravnica, like literally the Law and Order type. The
dirty cops.
I know what side of history I'm falling on, but I can't wait to play that deck. So I built a Twin Suns deck with like every board wipe in the game. So no one's gonna want to play with me. It's wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds on brand for you, Aubrey. Sounds on brand. All right, so what else you been up to? I'm assuming like you really haven't had much time for much Shatterpoint stuff yourself.
No, not this week. I again, we had the GT, and I was actually have been dabbling with Malediction, but by dabbling, I mean ever since I played the one day with Justin, I haven't even opened the boxes that I bought at the end of the day yet to get the STL files out or anything. This week, I severely underestimated how much I was going to get disrupted this week. So I'm here, I'm awake, I have coffee, and I'm ready to talk Battle in the Sands.
All right. Well, life doing life stuff. That sounds like, being an adult in general. So, all right. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the Battle of the Sands, Battle in the Sands, around the sands, in the sands, whatever it is. We're going to talk about it. So, basically, it's a four-player free-for-all. I will say that when they first created this game, that was one of the things I was looking for to begin with, was simply because of, on the Marvel Crisis Protocol side, probably my favorite way to play Marvel Crisis Protocol is Separation Anxiety, which is a 4-player free for all, which basically you play like half a squad that you would normally play, and you basically go pick up symbiotes and stuff like that. So I'm assuming this is somewhere along the lines, but I'll let you kind of jump into it. Like, what is the general premise of the game, like as far as like setup of it? I mean, it's like when you're setting up, building your squad, and everything along those lines. What's that all about? I guess I'll start with you, Aubrey.
Okay, so I can do the TLDR. So first off, it shouldn't be called Battle on the Sands. Omnis is entirely correct. I know Omnis. I said it out loud. It's fine. It should be called Hunter and Prey. That's what it should be called. Because here's the concept, and this is how I explain it to people. If you've ever played any kind of 4-player game, 4-player free-for-all game, I mean, this could be Smash Brothers, this could be Commander, whatever. You always kind of have this situation where if somebody gets too far ahead, everybody on the table kind of gangs up on them and smacks them back down. Or worse, you end up in this weird position where nobody's quite able to like take over the game because you're all being cagey and like you're trying to be fair and you're being political and then the game takes 3 hours and you're like, oh my god, can somebody just kill me please? I don't even care that I'm winning or losing right now. And so what AMG did, and AMG, please give this game to me as soon as possible. They fixed it. Todd, they fixed the problem of multiplayer gaming, full stop.
Okay.
All right, because here's the premise.
How is that?
I'm giving you a chance to go, ooh, so it's not just story time with Aubrey the whole time.
Yeah.
There we go, Todd. It's a dialogue, not a monologue. I know that's confusing with me sometimes.
Very much, yes.
So the idea is that it's 4 players. You're sitting in the seat. The player to your right is your prey. You get bonuses specifically for going after that player to the right. The person to your quote-unquote left, but would most likely be across the table from you, unless you're sitting at a weird table. I don't know. The person across from you to your left is, remember, they have a prey. It's you. That's your hunter. They get bonuses for attacking you, so you specifically need to be wary of that player because they're coming for you. They want to come after you. Then, last but not least, the player that's kitty corner from you, so across the table, so not your hunter, not your prey. That is your ally of opportunity. I don't know why they don't just call it like something shorter, but the point is that your ally of opportunity is still an enemy. Like, this is still a 4-player free for all, but you are given the opportunity to kind of pair up with them at times and kind of help each other out. It's very much, I think we all remember this is probably a lot of people's favorite episodes in Clone Wars, where Hondo gets introduced and he kidnaps Dooku, Obi-Wan, and Anakin, and then they have to they have to break out together, and they're constantly snarking each other the whole time, and as they're trying to get out, right? So, so your ally of opportunity is like Obi-Wan and Count Dooku try to break out of prison together, but you still hate each other, kind of a thing. So, following me so far?
Yeah.
All right, so
Now.
he's taking a water break. So let's go to you. Let's go to Nick here. So since he's sitting so patiently, so basically that's like the setup of it all. So what comes down to like basically like your strike team or your squad that you're playing with? What is the overall construction that way?
Yeah. So basically you take a single strike team to the table. So just with normal list building, AMG rules, you're going to have a primary, a secondary, and a support that all fit within those levels. And then as far as like your, how force and deck building works, you're going to have your normal force rules for your squad building. So For example, the event I played the Mandalorian, Bosk, and IG-11. So I brought 3 force to the table. And then how your order deck is built is you include your 3 order cards, you get a Shatterpoint card, and then you get 2. I'm not sure what the name of it was, but it basically tactic cards.
Okay.
And we'll go into those later on. But basically, you're going to have a deck of 6, maybe more if you bring Thrawn. I'm not entirely sure how that would work, but that's pretty much how the squad is built up.
Okay. All right. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. So then, like, so you have your squad. You basically sit at the table. You know everything going on. How do you kind of like set up the board as far as like deployment and the missions or whatever? Like, I know, like for example, there's in separation anxiety. There's like certain places where you put all the different extracts and everything along those lines. How does this board and deployment work?
Yeah, so it's a static board where basically each person has their own. It's called a base of operations, and how that's set up. I believe was it 5 up and 5 in. Yeah,
Well, that
so
yeah
it's
yeah.
so it's range
What's
5 up and then range 5 in from the corner.
Got it.
And then
All right.
that's your base of operations. And then another thing to highlight is in this specific mission, your primary is your empowered unit. And so you use your empowered unit at deployment. Believe you start off within range 1 of your home base, and then you deploy your secondary and supports at, as with normal deployment rules, so within range 1 of your primary. And one thing to quick note as well, your empowered unit counts as 2 bodies while scoring an objective or trying to capture an objective. And then another thing with your home base is all units or all allied units that are contesting the home base just get the abilities of innate protection and steadfast.
Oh, nice. So, what is like other than counting as 2, like basically as counting as 2 when contesting? Is there any other like importance behind being an empowered unit? Did they kind of go into that at all?
So Nick and I, all right. So we got to back up for a second. So, background context, everyone. So Joe, who is one of the judges at AdeptiCon, great guy. If you haven't met Joe at AdeptiCon, he's awesome. But
Yeah,
he would not let us. Yeah, he would not let us take pictures. And he wanted to make clear that what we were playing was probably like an older version. Like, so please don't take what we're telling you as final law on what Battle on the Sands is going to be.
Yeah.
But the key is that like we basically, Nick and I have been recreating this from memory, and Nick at least took notes. I trusted my very fallible memory because I was too busy to take notes. And so we think there's something else that the empowered unit got because there's a key. You don't always get momentum from wounds, and wounds are a lot more important in this version because you're trying. We'll talk about scoring in a minute, but you're very much trying to build up momentum, and of course you can get momentum from wounds just like standard Shatterpoint. But if I remember correctly, there was something where you either got an additional effect when the empowered unit wounded someone, or it was when we talk about scoring in a second. I was remembering that an empowered unit could get momentum off of wounding units that weren't your prey. Because spoilers, you only get momentum from your prey getting wounded, even if it's not by you. It can be other players wounding, and you get momentum from that. But I don't. Neither of us can remember what that other thing was that the empowered units have. So if somebody else was at Adepticon and you're listening and you remember, come tell us, because I could be misremembering. That might only be it might just be the one thing that we talked about, the double body thing. So I could also just be wrong.
Well, and
Okay.
I think they also did a great job future proofing or setting it up so that there are more missions later on down the road, because if they have like a couple of different things to start off with, like they could set up a different mission where maybe your empowered unit gets something on later on in different games. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So there was one other thing with like the actual board itself is there was also something called the Spoils of Victory. I see in your notes here. What's that all
Yeah.
about?
So that one is set up at dead center of the board. So all the way up to the middle, and then so basically it's called the Spoils of Victory, I believe. And basically, this is a point that's in the middle, and when you begin your activation in control of that, you get bonuses. So it's kind of like a King of the Hill type extra objective that's not only going to help you score, more points to bring it closer to your momentum, but you also get a bonus at the top of your turn, which is really cool.
Nice. Okay. So it sounds like, I mean, the board setup seems pretty good. I mean, did it feel like, my thing is it feels like you're kind of like chasing in a counterclockwise circle. Did it feel like you were doing that a little bit during the gameplay?
So one thing I'll point out is it's actually one of the other players in my pod pointed this out, but you're like in the thick of it as soon as you like spawn in. The guy to my left, my hunter, he was like, "Oh, I'm like basically in shooting range with Delta Squad of your unit. This is really interesting." And I was like, "I'm in danger."
Yup.
So like, so yeah, like that was one thing we noticed. That it feels like you're already up into the action. And to comment on what you just asked, I think there's many different play styles. Like, a lot of my game, I was really focused on invading my prey's home base of operations, but my prey was actually using his squad to kind of go around the map, and he like backdoored his own ally of opportunity and like got Ezra up as a tiebreaker onto there, and then was affecting the middle and just kind of hopping all around. So I think you have a lot of different directions. Like, do you want to try and get the momentum from wounding your prey, or do you want to maybe go towards like the middle and focus on that? Do you want to play a more defensive play style where you're keeping a lot of units back in your home base and protecting that, and you get that protection and steadfast abilities added onto your kit? So yeah, I think I think the way it kind of is designed is that you can really take it in a lot of different directions.
Okay. Well, I guess that kind of leads into the next part of it, and I'll kind of let you take the lead on this one, Aubrey, because you talked about getting to it. I mean, because I guess scoring really dictates play style, especially in this. So, like, how does scoring work in this game?
All right. So first off, you need 2 momentum trackers, and then you're going to need more of the I can't remember the name of it, but the center cube. I mean, I think at this point we all have go on Amazon and get different colors, or just use something else to indicate it. Because what you're gonna do is you just use 1/2 of the struggle tracker. So 0 doesn't exist in this. You start on 1. And then just like normal Shatterpoint, you have one momentum on 8. And your goal is just like Shatterpoint. You're trying to move your struggle token all the way to 8. The only difference is that it's not a tug of war like the base game. You are just trying to score. But one of the things about the Spoils of Victory is that when anyone starts their activation there, one of the bonuses that Nick was talking about is you can move any player's struggle token back 1. So whoever's winning and you start and you've got the spoils, cool. I'm moving you back 1. I'm making this harder for you. And then the rest of scoring is the same. It's you move the struggle token a number of spaces, towards your momentum equal to the number of active objectives you control. And then additional scoring that's important is if you control your prey's base of operations, so they're 1 objective, you get to move the struggle token 1 extra space. And then we already talked about momentum. The primary way you get momentum is when your prey gets wounded, but you have to be careful when you're wounding someone else's prey, which is also weird because that should be like it's going to be your hunter, so that is helping your ally of opportunity. So you're gonna want to wound them because one, they're coming at you, and two, you're helping your ally, and your ally's kind of helping you. But you both get the momentum when that happens. Because I remember there were situations where, and that's why I'm trying to remember if it was if it was an empowered thing or not. But moving on. But that's the basic thing. And the trick is that at most, I think you could, unless you're completely dominating, which I don't suspect can happen with 3 other opponents, you're only going to be scoring like 1 or 2. Most often, you might have your base on lockdown, and then maybe your praise base, or maybe the spoils of victory. But it's a little slower in the sense that most players, like, it was dramatic if somebody scored 3. Like, it was a pretty big deal. Like, when at one point in my game, I was able to use Callus because I borrowed Jin from Nick, which that was super fun because whenever somebody gains some momentum, what does Jin do?
Recover 2, and that's all players gaining momentum.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's got one. Okay.
Yeah.
We also heard from Joe that one of the other pods, they found out that Bodhi might be like a hidden power because he has that I need an open line ability where each player, they can choose to spend a momentum, otherwise he gets to roll and just add momentum. So that was pretty interesting. But
Interesting. Yeah, that is.
But yeah, like the biggest thing, like Aubrey was saying, is you only gain momentum when a unit of your prey is wounded, but it's regardless of what player does the wounding. So if your opportunity or someone else, wants to go for that spoils of victory center objective and they wound one of your prey's units, you're still benefiting even though you're not activating, which is, it's fun. It's like engaging for someone that's not currently going.
That's wild. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like how it's like it balances itself out where you can attack, but it's not as advantageous to attack. Like you're someone who's not your prey. So very interesting. So basically, you score by holding bases, either your own or your opponent's, and then you get momentum by wounding, and that's basically it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there's
pretty much.
Yeah. The only other thing is that just there you have to use the way you win is by scoring victory points, and so when you move the tracker all the way across for the first time and hit your momentum, you reset. Then you have to do this check with the other players where you look at whoever has the least victory points and they're furthest away from their momentum. And there might be a tie, which means more than one player gets to do this. They then get to choose an allied unit and remove 1 wounded or injury token, remove all damage, remove up 1 condition. Basically wake somebody up. And so there's a catch-up mechanic when it comes to scoring, but you still then have to do it again. So just like the base game, I mean, I guess it's effectively quote unquote 2 struggles, but you're on the same struggle the entire time kind of thing. You're just doing the same objectives, but you gotta score it twice to win.
And also one thing to add there, so when a player reaches that level and they score a victory point, then they completely reset their tracker. Everyone else stays the same. So
Okay.
So that way you're still kind of building up. It's not like a new struggle in the normal game where all players reset.
Interesting.
Ooh, good
Interesting.
detail.
So, I mean, it sounds like okay. You've got to explain like the game pretty much in its entirety that you can recall anyway. Starting with you, Nick. I mean, what was your impression of the game? I mean, it seems like you guys were pretty excited. I mean, that was you. Aubrey immediately came over to me and was like, "We got to talk about this on the podcast." Like, so that was like immediately you were saying that. So, what were your impressions of it? I mean, like initially and now, like 2 or 3 weeks later. Oh, Aubrey's got his
Yeah,
finger
go
up. What
for
do
it.
you got?
There's just one more detail we haven't talked about, Todd, because I know I
Okay.
know where you're going, but we didn't talk about what the tactic card does, and the ally of
Oh,
opportunity is all.
fair
Yeah.
enough.
So just
Oh
really,
yeah.
so just really quick, the last detail, and then yes, let's do the breakdown. Is the tactic cards are super interesting, I think, because there's at least in the mission we were in, there was one of each of these. The first line just says, "Activate your secondary character if able." Just full stop. Or activate your supporting, not character, unit. Your secondary unit, your supporting unit, if able. Because in theory, stuff could leave the board, although there's so much healing and removing of wounded and injured tokens. I don't think it's as killy as advertised, but that's just with one game and one game mode. Who knows? And I was playing Jin. I wasn't exactly very killy. So, yeah, I don't think anything left the table. One player almost lost their support, but then they got the spoils of victory and like were able to keep their support alive. But anyway, the tactic does that. So it's just activate a unit, right? But at the end of your turn, and this detail's super fascinating to me. After scoring, so you score, your ally of because I had to clarify that with Joe. I was like, when does this happen exactly? And it's apparently after scoring, which feels very weird to me, but who knows what the final version will be. Your ally of opportunity gets to perform 2 actions from a couple of lists. And I kind of created like a mock-up of the card. Like, obviously, it's not going to look like this, but I created a mock-up. But at the end of the player's turn, the ally of opportunity may perform one of the following effects. And it's always... whatever unit they're going to do this with is the opposite of the card. So like if I activated my support, they're going to use one of these effects on their secondary and vice versa. And so it's either a dash or make a 5 dice attack. So they just get a free movement or a free attack that they can use however they want. They don't have to help you. They just get to do that, which means they could wound somebody, they could flip an objective, they could do stuff to muck up the board at the end of your turn, which led to some hilarity when like if they got a wound, like stuff could happen, like it could be pretty interesting. Then they get, that's the first option. Then the second option is one of 3 things. Then your ally of opportunity can perform one of the following effects. And this is just anything. It's just, oh, no. It's the same secondary, right? Right, Nick? It's the same unit that you picked for the first list.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. We might be wrong about that, but
That might be
whatever. We're
one
recreating.
someone can double check us on. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they can either essentially remove all damage, a condition, and wounded tokens. I think it's 1 wounded token, and then or remove an injured token, or just refresh a force. So, and so that's kind of why your units don't leave the table as quickly as, because it kind of sounded like this was going to be super killy and people were going to shoot each other off the table because of like what Nick was saying, how close you are to one, like you're in range of each other right away. But these mechanics essentially go, nope, we're going to fill you back up. Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, you just need some force, because you only get, like, we're talking, what is that, 6 activations and you only have 3 force? Like, you have to make some pretty important decisions from a force economy standpoint.
One other thing, I think we forgot to mention this, but if you control the spoils of victory at the beginning of your turn, you refresh a force. So that's another bonus of that as well. So there's actually a lot of force regen.
So is it the spoils of victory? Does that have like a mechanic at the beginning of activation and then again at the end of activation, or is it just at the beginning of activation?
All beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get, there's that extra force refresh. There's force refresh on this card. Remember, you're getting 2 of these. So if your units just aren't injured, cool, you get some force back so that you can keep playing the game. And this happens twice in a shuffle, right? And then you have your Shatterpoint card, of course.
Okay.
And one other thing I'll comment on that, I think it's a really interesting design, because when you're playing a 4-person, free-for-all game, and like the person on the other side of the table is activating, like that could be a lot of time in between where you get to like play with your models, but now there's an extra card where you're doing stuff on other people's turns, and it's more engaging for all players rather than just kind of sitting and watching.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense. All right, so back to the question at hand here. So what again? What was your initial impression, and then like now, like that you've had some time to kind of marinate on the game and everything like that. What do you think about it now? What are your overall impressions?
Yeah, I think it was super fun. It was definitely one of the things I was most excited for. Going to Adepticon, I really wanted to try this out as soon as I heard that. Because like me and Jake love playing like the ultimate encounters and like other game modes for like MCP, and we've played some of the key operations and Galactic Legends and that stuff. So like finding a different way to use all of the stuff that you've like painted up and get different models on the table, love that. And then playing in a group of people, it was super fun. I thought I thought that I mean we were kind of still learning the rules, but I thought that the game was completed in like a good amount of time. Like it didn't take super long. I think the longest part was probably understanding and asking and making sure we were doing the rules correctly. But yeah, I mean, it was just a blast. Like it was super fun to have like an objective of trying to attack your prey and do that stuff, but then also, hey, I need to defend against this person to my left as well. So it's like you're kind of all over the map, and like you have so many different things that you can do. A lot of strategies to try. I had mentioned before I wanted to do like a bounty hunter list, so I brought Mando, Bosk, and IG-11. And getting so many extra attacks through the Ally of Opportunity cards, and then IG and Mando, like I don't know, it was super fun. So I had a great time, and much like Aubrey, I am super excited for this to come out as a full game mode with like rules flushed out, and definitely want to try that again.
About how long did the game take to play? Was it like like a 2 hour game like a normal game of Shatterpoint, or was it a little bit?
So I think ours took probably about like 2.5, but like we were bringing the judges over and like asking and clarifying a lot, and then we were also just like hanging out, like eating some snacks and just having a good time. So I think if we just had like this set of rules, knew what stuff was or what stuff was supposed to go with which, we would be able to get that out in the same time as a normal Shatterpoint game, maybe even faster, honestly. Um, so with 4 people too, like I'd say that's a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good turnaround as far as for that length of time. I don't think it was anything too crazy there. And again, you would expect like a multiplayer game. It's going to be more of a beer and pretzels type of a game anyway, where you're kind of just hanging out with your buds and rolling some dice and seeing like where you're going to attack. So, do you think there's like an optimized list based off of like what you've played so far? It sounds like you guys have already been brainstorming the optimized Battle of the Sands list.
Yeah, I was talking with Omnis, and he also got to test it out, and like it was funny. So he got to try it out first before I even like knew the rules and stuff, and we were already chatting about like different list building and stuff. I don't think there's really like an optimized list. If anything, I think it expands list building. Like maybe trying out some different primaries and with different different characters could be a really good idea. I Man, I don't even wouldn't even know where to begin. Like I think trying out like a lot of the Jedi, doing extra stuff with that sounds like a lot of fun. I think you can go in any direction. Oh, um, also just to kind of give you an idea, so I used that bounty hunter list. Um,
Mhm.
Evan was also in my pod, and he used Hondo and Ezra, and then my ally
Nice.
of opportunity player used full Dathomirian, had Asajj, Savage, and then the Night Sisters, and then the player to my left, he brought Delta. So it was like a full mixture of like different units that people wanted to try out. So Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Sounds like it was a pretty fun overall list.
Yeah.
So Aubrey, what are your thoughts on it? Because I know you were pretty excited. I mean, it's like, I mean, is this like Commander meets Shatterpoint?
Oh, absolutely. No, I still stand by what I said at the beginning of the episode. This is totally fixed Commander because here's my thing. When I played Commander and I would play at a shop with like a league and not objectives, achievements and stuff because we were trying to make it friendlier. There was always some guy who just did not understand the social contract and would just come and raffle stomp everyone, and there was just nothing you could do because there weren't any. I don't want to say guardrails, but I guess that is the word. I'm thinking of like more like bumpers, like when you're playing when you're going bowling. Like there was nothing to stop somebody from doing that other than the social contract. Whereas this, what they have put together, gives you multiple assigned roles, so everyone at the table knows what their job is, and you have a built-in push and pull between your objectives. You have to be both defensive and offensive. You can't just go after your prey. Like in my game, my prey just went, you know what? I'm going balls to the walls and I'm sending everybody at my prey. And left their base entirely undefended. And I just went, well, I'm gonna take cover and move like dash Callus, take cover, move or Dallas. Callus. We got a Dallas Kemp minifigure when?
That would be
So-
hilarious.
right. But so like I just moved Callus over there. Callus didn't do anything the rest of the game. He just sat there going, I'm on your base, I got your base, and I just kept scoring extra points. And so I almost won the game just because even after like 3 or 4 turns of me going, hey, I got your base, the opponent to my right is like, no, I'm killing every one of my prey. And I was like, okay, friend, like I don't know if that's gonna work out for you. So like, but that's just experience, right? That's just time playing the game, figuring out what works, figuring out what doesn't. Because the way I played it is I never even went after the spoils. I was like, no. There were two.
Same.
My hunter and my ally were fighting over that so hard that I was like, no, I don't want to be involved in that. And so I just kept my support and my primary over where, my opponent was playing Moff Gideon, Vader 3, and ISBs. Yeah, ISBs. So like, and he was doing a good job of, he was trying to protect his base. He was, but like he had 3 objectives, and that was some trouble because he was trying to take the spoils, he was trying to take my base, and he was trying to protect his base, and like that might have been too much. That might have just been too much because the person who ended up winning, I think, was my ally. I think it was my ally of opportunity because he did the same thing as me. He didn't really he didn't have to go after his prey's base because his prey was going after the spoils. So he's like, all right, cool. I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to fight you there. I'm going to get all my points from fighting you over the spoils. And then, of course, remember, my prey was like going hardcore after his base, so he was like, and I'm gonna protect my base. I'm like, I'm gonna protect my base. I'm gonna go after the spoils. My prey is there, so I'm gonna get my auxiliary objectives down. And all I have to say is, it was like playing a different game, but still Shatterpoint. It was like completely different objectives, completely different mindset, completely different models that would be good or not as effective in the game. And I just want to do more. I want to do more. I'm gonna set this up. I'm gonna figure this out, and it's gonna be messy and incomplete because it's a beta version. But I'm gonna do an event with this. Full stop.
Yeah, I think, if you could scrounge up like 8 players, and it could be like a 2-round event where you have like one squad and then another squad and then mix and match, like that could be really fun. Also, another interesting thing is the terrain setup can make a really interesting game. Because, like, in mine,
Yeah.
my praise base of operations was on one of those, like, little gantry ledges on a high tower. So, like, I
Hmm.
had to try and, like, push up and, like, climb up onto there. His units had, like, steadfast and protection. So, like, it was really interesting. And then, like, the spoils of war was, like, up on, like, a, third elevation, like, gantry. But then, like, my
Hmm.
home base was, like, on the ground. So it was really interesting how that could work out. Um,
Yeah. No, I've
yeah,
done
go ahead.
that with separation anxiety, where we've had like 8 players show up, and you had 2 4-person pods, and like first and second, and one go and play first and second, and the other and the bottom 2 stay there. So it's like kind of like a. I mean, if you can get 16, it's really fun because then you can really round robin it. But I mean, still, like if you can get 8 people together and have run 4-man pods, it's pretty fun. I would hope that they would do, because I know like for separation anxiety they actually released all of the cards and all of the tokens that went along with it, so that you could sit there and play that with actual like generated generated pieces to the game. It would be cool if they end up doing that once they actually decide to roll it out and everything along those lines. But I mean, it sounds like you're on a path to sit there and recreate this anyway, Aubrey.
No, I think we've got it. Like, there's a couple of things that are like wibbly wobbly, and we could always like adjust on the fly if if we're running it, and then we're like, something doesn't seem to be working right. It's like,
Yeah.
did we actually forget something? I don't know. Let's tweak this because it's unofficial right now, but I want I want a multiplayer. Like, what's cool about this is now the barrier to entry to the game, as long as you have another player who has stuff for you, is literally one box, one set of dice, one range ruler, and then somebody's got to provide you with some of the tokens and stuff that you're kind of missing. But that's a very low that's way less upkeep than having to come up with a premier list for a
Yeah.
GT, right? And then it was just fun because, like, again, we were learning as we went, as Nick was saying, and like all of a sudden, like, my ally from across the table would be like, hey, you missed your heal trigger or whatever off of Jin, and I'd be like, oh, thank you, like, cool, awesome. And or my ally would be like, hey, if you attack them right now, I'm gonna go after you, and I have I have 2 cards left. I'm like, I can then finish them off, and then like we both get a momentum, and I'm like, cool, yeah, absolutely. Like, and then the same thing would be happening with the other ally across the way, and so it just felt. I hate to keep bashing on Commander, but it felt like the way Commander was supposed to be played. That, like, yeah, like, we got later in the game and my ally suddenly stopped helping me because I was winning. And my ally went, no, and like at one point my ally took my momentum back. And it's like, oh, I guess we're frenemies now. Okay, all right. Which was entirely valid from a strategic perspective. I'm pretty sure that's why I lost, is because my ally suddenly went, nope, I'm gonna Count Dooku this, and take your momentum away. And it was the most fun that I've had playing Shatterpoint in months. And yes, I know the meta's kind of blah blah blah, but like, I'm not saying I haven't been having fun playing Shatterpoint in the past 6 months, because I have been. But this was more fun than that.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, overall sounds like it's a pretty good thing. So I'm excited to see, like, when it actually does come out, and if you decide, I know, Aubrey, you keep yourself so, you have so much free time that you're going to be able to sit there and put this together for everyone. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to that as well. So,
Todd, so now that you kind of understand the rules and how it works, what type of list would you bring?
Right?
I would honestly bring an OB list, an OB Galactic Republic list. Like, just like OB with yeah, just it's OB with probably like Seven Scorch and Rex or something like that would probably be kind of fun. You know, keep those hunkers there, being able to sit there and move back with his ability. I don't know what Aubrey's counting on his fingers.
Is that legal? Isn't Seven Scorch?
Oh, they're
Oh
fives,
Seven
yeah.
Scorch is five.
Yeah, maybe pawns then.
Todd, I'm the cheater on this cast. Come on now.
Ovi could be
Yep.
really fun though, because
Yeah.
if some, if your ally or your prey or your hunter attacks any of your characters, you're dashing around.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking like this morning, like Nadar Veb or Boba Fett, who they get movement when an opponent's primary or somebody moves, like Hunter, like you're just
Right.
moving like 3 times, yeah. So I think they're, maybe building around a secondary, because the secondary is for sure activating twice a deck, maybe a third time. Like in my game specifically, Bosk was an absolute MVP. I Shatterpointed him first. I walked up and then I did the explosive ordnance and rolled 3 expertise. So I did 3 damage to my praise units before he even activated, and then, climbed up on top and said hello to Lando and Bartu. And so,
Nice.
yeah, I think Bosk had like a couple of explosive ordinances where he had like 2+ damage. So it was a lot
That's
of
pretty
fun.
awesome. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a fun format. I'm excited to like see where this goes and everything like that. So I like that. It seems like Shatterpoint's moving in a pretty positive direction over the next couple of months. So I'm excited to see kind of like how everything plays out and everything along those lines. So I don't know, Nick, do you have any closing thoughts about the game that you wanted to like make sure everybody knows about?
I mean, if you're listening to this today and you remember like any rules that maybe we missed over, like let us know.
Yeah.
Because
Please.
again, like they asked us not to take any pictures or anything like that, because they're still working through it, and so me and Aubrey just put our brains together and tried to remember as many of the rules as possible. But like, it's super fun, especially if you have any newer players that you just want to get into like a more casual like game, and like, hey, we got a group of 4, like let's go out and play this. I mean, it's a super fun game mode, and yeah, there's a lot of different lists and stuff that you can build. So like, I'm trying to play more games soon, and Aubrey, if you run an event, I will definitely be there trying to.
Seems like you could use it for like a learn to play with like just
Yeah.
with the core box. Each core box
Yeah.
is like one squad. Seems like that'd be a pretty fun way to do a learn to play also.
Yeah, I mean, like you're picking up those like skills, like figuring out like different, ways to use your units, and then you have 3. Well, you have 2 other people that could theoretically be helping out the third. Your prey is probably not going to help you out with any triggers, but yeah, I think it would be good for newer players and experienced players as well. Like, it's just a fun way to try out models.
Absolutely. All right, Aubrey. What about you? Any closing thoughts?
So the one detail, and I do understand this, and we haven't talked about the whole reason that I even got to play Battle on the Sands, because it was just during one of my breaks at the stream, and I was just gonna go watch Battle on the Sands for like an hour, and then come back to the stream table because I was supposed to be, and then Joe comes over to me and he's like, Aubrey, this game doesn't really work yet with 3 players, and I have 1 pot of 3. Can you jump in and play so that everybody has a good experience? And I was like, let me tell Todd and Austin and Jake really quick, because I'm like, I'm supposed to be back at the stream table, and I'm betting this isn't gonna be just an hour. Okay. So I did that. And then Nick gave me models, because I didn't even have my minis with me. They were back in the hotel room, because I was just supposed to watch and learn and then leave, which I'm happy I got to. Like, don't get me, twist my arm. I'm happy I got to play, and I'm happy y'all were able to cover so I could play. But it doesn't The only problem is I understand. I think the reason why we haven't gotten this yet is they haven't figured out the 3-player version, because all of that greatness and awesomeness, the mix that you have there, I feel like it would break down if, like, cause then, like, your ally is also your prey or your hunter, and like that doesn't.
Well, they did have a 3-person variant. Like they had setup and they had the rules for that. But from what I understood, one of the other pods did play the 3-person round, and yeah, it got kind of wonky because your prey was also your ally. So it was, I don't know, it can get kind of wacky with that. But I know that they said that they were working on that. So looks like it'll be like a 3-person or a 4-person mode.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like you kind of have to have a 3-person variant of it. I mean, because 2-player you're just playing some version of Shatterpoint, really. Like it, but and then 2, 3, and 4 you really kind of have if you're going to go multiplayer. So, I mean, hopefully they can figure it out. I mean, they'll probably have to do something with that ally of opportunity mechanic, I would assume. So, I don't know. Sounds exciting. Sounds pretty interesting. I'm excited to kind of see what happens there and what happens with this game as they move forward. So, but thanks guys for sharing about that. As like, I'm really excited to see the future for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I will probably just try to set up a time to run it through its paces again, and I'll just set up not like a full event yet, but just like a meetup at some point in the near future, and be like, all right, I need exactly 3 other people. Well, I mean, I guess more people could show up if you want. I'll make extra cards, but I'm like, I need 3 people, not 2 people, not 6 people. We need 4 bodies to do this on a Wednesday or a Friday or whatever, and go from there. So keep an eye out. I gotta. We're trying to plan the end of league event, and like June is already a nightmare. So I mean, I'll probably do a meetup at some point between now and July, and then maybe I'm thinking July I might try to do the like an actual event. Asterisk, who knows? I don't know how busy anything is happening, and I'm about to go into the summer reading program entirely short-staffed at my building. Yay! I'll be very tired.
That's life. All right. Well, I'm going to close out here then. As always, I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in, listening to us, or watching us on YouTube. We appreciate you guys. You are amazing. You're the reason why we keep on coming back and doing all the wonderful things that we do. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month in the link below. We always appreciate our patrons and all the support you give us. It helps us do some of the things we do, like go to AdeptiCon, do the giveaways, send the giveaway stuff out, and everything along those lines that we do, like at AdeptiCon. If you don't want to become a patron, you don't have to. We appreciate any support you can give us by either rating, reviewing the podcast on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on, or if you are watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, give us hit that bell for the notifications whenever something new comes up. But other than that, as always, thank you very much. And if you want to be like Aubrey, go fight people in the sand.
We are both hunter and prey.
Thanks, guys.